Well, welcome back. It is Monday, the 28th of April. Last night, Sunday night, we had some pretty scary weather come through, but it looks like the crops handled it pretty good. We had some minor damage on the tomatoes. You know, in the last video, I told you how they'll break sometimes when you just have the first string on there, when you get a hard wind pushing on it crossways, and it looks like we had a few break, but nothing significant. We'll replant those, but everything else seems to be okay. It's pretty wet. We got about 1.25 inches. We got more rain the second half of this week. We've got a lot to get done. We've got our second round of cantaloupes, red watermelons, and yellow watermelons that need to be transplanted now, as well as our okra. We'll save it for last. We'll transplant it last. That'll go on bare ground. So we're out here today starting on the cantaloupes. Even though it's wet, we gotta get started and gotta do what we can while we can. When I left you last, I was kind of in the middle of trying to get all the peas taken care of, but I got it done. Got the first zipper cream planted, the second purple hull planted, sprayed, got all the pea ground that I was trying to get done fertilized, and got the third peas, which will be next, got that ground ready. The third peas are generally in the wettest spot of all the places that I plant the peas, so it may be a challenge trying to get them in if it rains more later this week. Very thankful that the damage was basically none. We had tornado warnings in the area, very high wind warnings, flooding, but we didn't get too much of that, but it was all real close by. So once again, I'm very thankful for that. Our power is out. It's been out for probably 16 hours, and who knows how long it'll be, but we're out in the field working today, though, doing what we can while we can. All right, these are going to be the second cantaloupes. Got some on the trailer here. When it's wet like this and we can't get the tractor in here to punch the holes, we have to punch them by hand, which sounds terribly slow, but it's really not. But it's a lot better than sitting around waiting for it to dry up to get the tractor out here. You know, we can have a couple of days worth of planting already done before we would have been able to get out here with the tractor, but we can get a lot done while it's wet, even though we're out here doing it by hand. This is one of our hole punchers that we use by hand. 18 inches. We've got a wedge here to make the hole. Got a cotton picker spindle right here, welded at 18 inches across. We've got these hole punchers at 18 inches and some for 24. Got a handle. Make your hole. Cotton picker spindle makes a little tiny hole, makes a mark for the next hole. So you just go right down the row. All right, we got a pretty good stand here on the first peas. They're up, and looks like most every seed came up, which is good. So these will be ready probably about the third week of June. If nothing happens to them. Okay, this is what the newly planted second cantaloupes look like. And these are next to the first ones right here. All right, fast forward to the next morning, and we've got red watermelons here. We're gonna start planting these this morning. They're ready. This will be the third cantaloupe. just planted them here in the greenhouse. They'll go out in the field about middle of May. Okra, I'm hoping we can get them in this week with the weather, but we'll see. Got some more yellow watermelons. These are our first regular and pickling cucumbers. And then these are some more peppers and a few extra tomatoes there in case we need them. Today's the last day of April, and it looks like we're gonna end with right at exactly 10 inches of rain for the month of April. So that's a little excessive. Of course, 7 of it came at one time. The other 2, 1.5 inches and almost another 1.5 inches are spread out just enough to where we've had very little dry time in April. So we've had to cram what we can cram in, which is, you know, kind of what farmers do. They cram it all in when they can, but hopefully it won't be as wet in May. You know, you don't ever want the rain to stop, but once again, it's been a little excessive, and the whole month of April has been pretty wet. But I am thankful that we've gotten done what we've gotten done. I don't know that we're really behind as far as the crops go, and when we got them planted and all. I think we're on a normal schedule. It just gets harder to keep everything you know, done and sprayed and getting ready for more plantings and all that. It just makes it a little harder when it's wet all the time. But you know, we really haven't had a lot of sunshine either in the month of April. Even when it's not raining, it's been a lot of days like right now. You see it's pretty cloudy. Okay, I've got the 24-inch wheel on for the red watermelons. I think I can do a lot of it, but not all of it. I'm gonna have to back out in some places, but they can do the rest by hand. Now the water drains real well on this field, but it on the lower end it takes longer for it to dry out, so it's too wet for me to turn the tractor around and without making some ruts. So I'm gonna get close to the end and back out. So I'll do that, and that'll speed them up and keep them from having to punch all these holes by hand. They'll just have to do you know, on the ends there by hand. All right, today I went and picked up a half a tote of liquid nitrogen, 32%. That's what we're gonna use through a drip tape. We're gonna start on that. Probably would start this weekend, but if it's raining, I'll wait till next week. And we'll put out once a week rates on everything through the drip tape. All right, this morning I'm out here early, daylight. Gonna get everything sprayed this morning. Staying on my schedule with the fungicide and insecticide on the plastic crops. Anytime we get a rain of significance, since the last time that I put out fungicide, I try to stay on 7-day schedule. You know, if we get a 10-day stretch where there's no rain since the last time I put it out, and I'll go 10 days. But anyway, I'm out here early this morning. It's supposed to be pretty light, calm winds, so it's a good time to do it this morning. Plus we got rain chances tomorrow, so I gotta get in before that. You know, the fungicides are what you really have to stay on top of on a schedule. Now obviously insecticides are important too, but you know, these vegetable crops are so sensitive to disease, and especially when we've had all the rain that we've had. You know, you want to start early with the fungicide schedule. You don't ever want to wait or skip or wait till you see any kind of symptoms, because that's usually, you know, you run into problems then. All right, you can see the watermelons are already trying to hang off the plastic just a little bit, so that means next week we'll need to come back for the second time and probably plow the middles, put out some more pre-emerge and incorporate it in. because it won't be long before they'll be too far out and you won't be able to do it. This is May the 1st. Okay, the newly planted red watermelons. Got a good many of those planted on the second go around. Compare that to the older red watermelons. About 4 weeks apart. These are the first yellow. They're a little bit behind when we planted the first red. All right, well, we got through spraying and sun's out, so that's a good thing. All right, now I am injecting a one-time fungicide through my drip lines, a systemic for Phytophthora and dampening off. We planted, like you've seen, a lot this week, and then of course we planted the first round of a lot of things about 4 weeks ago. So I can't really separate each planting as far as the water or any type of injection. I just have to separate it by zones in the field. So kind of just take a happy medium here. We're putting this out now. It's a one-time deal. Started doing this last year. It's hard to know if it works or not, but we didn't have any problems last year, so maybe it did. It's been wetter this spring, so a lot of times these little plants will certainly get diseases right off the bat, kind of before they get going. So anyway, we're doing that right now. Got a booster pump under that bucket. This is my main water supply going this way. Got a loop right here with the Mazai Venturi injector, and it creates a pressure differential when you have that booster pump. You have to have the pressure differential to suck up. So we're sucking the fungicide into the water lines. I've got it metered out and know how much I need to put for each zone. So works pretty good, and this is also how we do the fertilizer. From here on out, the only thing we'll be injecting after today will be that 32% fertilizer that I showed you in that tote. Gauge on each side of this Venturi Mazai injector is showing about 75 pounds, and on the other side showing about 35. So we got a 40 PSI pressure differential. We're not using it. When we're done, just flip the switch right here, it turns off that booster pump. All right, you want the water pressured up good before you turn on your injection system. That way the water is evenly distributed throughout the zone, and so when you start pumping your fungicide or fertilizer, whatever you're doing, it'll evenly distribute also. And then you also want to leave, I like to leave at least 15 minutes on the back end, to kind of flush everything out of the lines. I really didn't need to water today because it's been wet, but unfortunately you got to water to put out your fungicide or fertilizer, whatever you're injecting, so I didn't leave it on too long. Hopefully next week we can start on a regular watering schedule. It's kind of been hit or miss so far because it's been so wet. Well, you can tell it's raining. It's Thursday morning. We've gotten about 1 inch so far. Chances some more later today and during the night tonight and maybe early in the morning. Just an update, we did get through planting the second red watermelons. We finished the second cantaloupes earlier in the week. So we have not started yet on the second yellow or the okra transplants. That'll be the first priority once we get back to the field. Also, the tomatoes need tying again, second string. You saw the oldest melon vines creeping out on the plastic. I've got to take care of the middles. That's got to be dry. Got to get the third peas planted. That's got to be dry. It was still wet on Wednesday afternoon where I'm going to plant the third peas, so this is just going to make it wetter. Next week does look a little better. It's going to be hotter, which will make it dry up faster. We just need some multiple sunshine days in a row. So that kind of gives you an update where we are. And we're working in the greenhouse this morning. We're going to finish up all of our flats that we've got left for the rest of the year and get them ready, get the dirt in them, get the holes punched. Not planting them yet, but just having them ready. That'll be the last watermelons and cantaloupes, the late crop, as well as some more cucumbers and squash. So after today, we won't have to get any more flats ready. We'll have them all ready to go. Probably going to plant most of that in the greenhouse probably in the next 10 to 12 days, something like that. Okay, we got all the rest of the flats ready, stacked up. It's about 275 flats. That'll finish us up for the season once we get them planted. And believe it or not, that's about almost 20,000 more transplants in those stacks right there. Alright, we're going to try to get this second yellow planted. Not raining early Friday morning, but it may be in a little while, so see if we can squeeze them in. Well, the rain didn't last too long, so sat in the truck a little while and then it quit, and then got the yellow watermelons finished. And that's what they look like, no different than the little red ones, other than we plant them further apart just to give them a little more space so they get a little bigger. It's really too wet to start on the okra where it is, but we're going to do it anyway. Friday afternoon, we may be okay tomorrow, maybe. Sunday's back to 70%. You know, I watched it this morning, it was 30%. Yesterday it was 70. Today at lunch is back to 70. So who knows, it's hard to follow that weather sometimes when you watch it so much. Sometimes it's best just to look up and keep working until it rains. But anyway, we're going to try to do what we can. I don't know that we're going to finish all of it, you know, because it's already 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, Friday. We'll work till lunch tomorrow, and if we don't finish, we'll finish up on Monday morning. I use my little Kubota here that we do the tomato sprayer with, and we put the same wheel that we use on the plastic, but I put it on a different frame. Going to be a 24-inch wheel. The reason we put it on a different frame is, you know, if we had the big tractor, it would be straddling 2 rows, and you put your wheel in the middle and it's right in the bottom of the furrow. It's not on top of the row. So the Kubota straddles 1 row. So that way we can put the wheel in the middle of this other frame on the Kubota and it'll punch the hole right in the row. There's some that we've already punched. Come back and drop the transplants in. Yeah, I used to plant the okra by seed, and I had a real hard time getting it ready to where it was really making good while we were open in the summer. It would kind of really take off about the time we were closing up to the public. So I switched to the transplants, and it helped, you know, get them ready faster. Sometimes it's still kind of cool, you know, the end of April, 1st of May, when we're planting the okra. So, you know, if you had a seed, it may not come up that fast. Okra likes it hot. You know, it's kind of like cotton. It wants it planted when the soil temperature is higher, and so you don't always have that then. But I can put out these transplants and kind of get a little bit of a jump start. It's more work. I mean, I could plant this with my little 1-row vacuum seeder in no time by myself, but you know, when you get all these transplants, and it obviously takes a little time to do it, but to me it's worth it.
Say something.
All right, what we do is we skip 2. We're over the levee here. Got my pea field going that way. Plant 2 and skip 2 and plant 2. You know, all the way. We got these point rows here down there in the corner. This makes it for ease of harvesting. You can drive a vehicle down here between the middle. You can keep it clean with a big tractor. When it gets time to harvest, you've got, you know, one side of the okra plant here where you're kind of got room to work. You know, those things will get big and bushy, and you know, you got to wear long sleeves, and it'll get you itching and all when you're harvesting. So this plant 2 skip 2 works good for us instead of, you know, like a plant 1 skip 1. Certainly could not do it solid. Well, you might be able to tell there, I recruited some extra help in the okra to help us try to get finished yesterday afternoon, and they came back this morning for a little while, and not raining, so we should get through with the okra this morning, and that'll be one more thing that's checked off the box for this week. So we did get everything planted despite all the rain interruptions and all that we needed to get planted this week, other than the peas. So hopefully tomorrow on Sunday will be minimal or no rain. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but thankful that we got everything in this week that we needed to. So we're going to end the video here. I'm getting ready to go spray the peaches. Thank y'all for watching. You might get tired of me talking about the weather, hopefully not, but that's certainly a gigantic factor into trying to get everything done, and on a timely manner especially. So anyway, if you hadn't subscribed to us, I would appreciate it if you would, and we will see y'all next time.